I want to ask you a bit of trivia. I know you're not emotionally prepared for it, and I'm pretty damn sure you're not going to get it. That's why I'm asking it to you. This is some sort of self-aggrandizing exercise. It's designed to make me feel good because I ask you the question. I know you don't know the answer, and then I get to spend a few minutes telling you the answer. That's a great new name for the channel. Just that whole sentence. Well, do you think that fits on YouTube? Does it fit into the... Who do you think is the club? And I might have ruined this with the thumbnail or the title. I honestly don't know. But who do you think is the club with no losses or draws this entire season in all competitions? There's only one. Only one in the 50 biggest leagues in Europe. Or hold on. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Top 50 nations in the UEFA country rankings. The top flight of the top 50 nations in the UEFA coefficient rankings. There's only one club that hasn't lost or drawn, that has won every single competitive match that they've played this entire season. Right? Do you know? How well do you know ball? Because I didn't know about like 15 minutes ago. It's Aberdeen. Apparently, my working theory is that Sir Alex Ferguson has returned, not from the grave because he's still alive, but he's already been reincarnated, right? We're not talking about some run-of-the-mill manager here. We're talking about one of the best managers of all time. So he's able to reincarnate himself before he dies, right? And that new reincarnation has decided to take over Aberdeen, a team that is the final team outside of Celtic and Rangers to win Scotland in 1984 when Sir Alex Ferguson was leading them. It was around 1984. I'm like 85% sure I'm right on that. But I am right. That was the last Scottish team that's not Celtic or Rangers to win the league. And all of a sudden, they have managed to find that form again. Now, when I initially saw this headline, when I initially saw this mentioned, I was sure that it was wrong. So follow along with me. They decided to start the season with the Scottish League Cup group stage, which don't know why we need a group stage for the Scottish League Cup, but they won all four of those matches against Queen of the South, East Kilbride, Airdrieonians, and Dumbarton. They then entered into Scottish League play with a win over St. Johnstone, St. Mirren, Queen's Park, Kilmarnock. Queen's Park was in the Scottish League Cup second round. They beat Ross County, they beat Motherwell, they beat Spartans in the Scottish League Cup quarterfinal, and they beat Dundee in the Scottish League. And that's all it took. And honestly, that kind of blows my damn mind. That out of every team in the top flight of the top 50 nations in the UEFA coefficient, that's all you had to do to be the only team left that's won every competitive match. Now, granted, the reason that has become relevant today is because there are multiple teams that have an opportunity to claim that in Scotland. All you have to do is look up the Scottish League table to notice that Aberdeen's not even top of the league. They are tied with Celtic on 6 wins from 6. And Celtic hasn't conceded a damn goal. I mean, honestly, Ange turned them into an absolute buzzsaw again. It seems they are just murdering everyone. The plus 20 goal difference on 20 goals for in 6 league matches doesn't even seem fair. Rangers is way off the pace with a draw and a loss. In their first 6 matches, they're never going to be able to recover that because honestly, it doesn't. Celtic's probably not going to drop 5 points over the course of the rest of the season, and Aberdeen's going to be chasing them on fumes. Because honestly, looking at that schedule, Aberdeen hasn't actually played anybody in the top 3 yet outside of them. They did play and beat Motherwell, who's in 4th, right? So I'll give it to them. But Motherwell, to the untrained American ear, sounds like a non-league team from England, right? Like, I know who Motherwell is. I'm just saying that there is a different category that is, goes to Celtic and Rangers, and Aberdeen haven't played either of those teams, and they're going to have to play them a lot. So does this mean Aberdeen is special? Probably not. Probably not, honestly. Like, this only happened because Celtic had to play at Dortmund. What do I think would happen if Aberdeen played at Dortmund? They'd probably lose 7-1. That's exactly what happened to Celtic, right? Like, they went to Dortmund and got absolutely shellacked. And that means, how bad is the Scottish League? Right? A team that's losing 7-1 at Dortmund hasn't conceded a goal in their first 6 Scottish League matches. I know the answer is bad. I mean, we're talking about a league system that has, a league cup where you play, well, I guess the group stage probably eliminates a lot of teams, but they're already in the semifinal. It was September. I'm comfortable believing it was September. And now that's all of a sudden gone. I feel like the rug's been pulled out from under me. It's October. It's getting a little chilly outside. I'm not emotionally prepared for that. I'm making these videos in hoodies. I don't want that. Why? Why did I leave Florida? Because it was going to be underwater. We all know the answer to that. That and the alligators, right? I got tired of surfing them to school. That's fine. So sometimes you just need a little reminder. But I'll give a little shout out to the guy who's leading the league in goals, Pape Habib Gueye, who is a 25-year-old player from Senegal, who is the lead striker for Aberdeen that has been absolutely bagging goals so far. He did a loan to Kristiansund last year. He has not made a Senegalese senior national team appearance, and yet he is the leading scorer in the Scottish Premier League. So why did I make this video? I made this video because I have an obsession with cool, weird, fun facts. And this is a cool, weird, fun fact. And it is an indictment of everybody not playing European football in like every other major league. I find this interesting. I didn't know that Aberdeen was not in European football, because the more I think about it, this is actually a really easy thing to land, to be the only team that's won every match. Because all the best teams in every league, they go into some sort of European qualifying, whether they're from Latvia or whether they're from Lithuania. Probably should have left the Baltic for that example, but you get the idea. And almost all of them lose at some point or draw. Fail to win a match, right? If they didn't, they'd be in the Champions League, or maybe they make it to the Conference league table, right? But a lot of those lesser countries and all the better teams in those lesser countries, the only teams that would have a chance to win their first 5 or 6 matches in the league, they've already gone through this entire process of trying to qualify for Europe, and they've picked up a loss or picked up a draw. So this is like a statistical anomaly that we're witnessing. And that means that really every year, as much as I told you I saw this 15 minutes ago, you see something like this, every year it's probably some team like Aberdeen. But I'm happy it's Aberdeen. I'm a believer in parity. And Aberdeen, I've done a save with Aberdeen on Football Manager before. They're one of the teams that I like the most. They're the archetype, and I don't mean Aberdeen specifically. I mean the archetype of a team like Aberdeen. Because honestly, whether it's the New Saints in Wales, whether it's Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia, whether it's Bate Borisov in Belarus, or whether it's Celtic and Rangers in Scotland, I don't like the big bully teams that just collect their European money and buy all their players from the best, they buy all their best players from all the other teams in the league and they hoard them at the top. Somebody needs to find a way to distribute that money better in a lot of these leagues. And Scotland obviously being one of them, because Celtic and Rangers have been unfair for 40 years, right? I'm somebody that comes from a league in the United States where winning the title twice in a decade is considered kind of a magical run, right? There's so much parity, right? The irony in the balance of American sports, right? But those teams bother me, those leagues bother me, so I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that this is an indication that Aberdeen is about to actually push Celtic, and we're going to get an amazing title race in Scotland that's not between Celtic and Rangers, but involves a third unknown party. This year's volunteer for statistical anomaly of the month, because they are crowned as of the top 50 nations in the UEFA country rankings, Aberdeen are now the only top flight club to have won every single one of their matches in 2024 and 2025. And for that brief moment, even though there is such an obvious, logical reason that this is something that Aberdeen could achieve, where a lot of clubs, including Celtic, were not able to achieve because they had to play actual teams and not made-up teams. No offense to Ross County or Queen's Park. Not Queen's Park Rangers. Queen's Park, I think. That or they played Queen of the South. Maybe they played both of them. Those are both teams in Scotland. No, Aberdeen's the best team in Europe. They are. I believe in Aberdeen supremacy. I believe in the incarnation of Sir Alex Ferguson, and long may they reign. Oh, this is just an interesting, weird statistical thing. But right now, while you're watching this video, Aberdeen's the only team that's won every one of their competitive matches in Europe's top leagues. We live in that reality.